So hi everyone, I'm Olivia from DIA. I believe some of you might be able to see me on the camera, and apologies in advance for that. Not looking at my best today, but if you can't, then that's not a bad thing. So what you should see at the moment is the webinar will start at 11 o'clock, and now you should see the mindfulness and our names on there. So as you know, I'm Olivia, many of you know me. So not many of you may at this moment know Tor. So she will go through a little introduction with herself in just a moment. But we're very, very lucky to be joined by Tor today as a very knowledgeable lady in the field of mindfulness. And so she's going to share a few things with us this morning to, you know, just to, with these strange times, just to help to get our heads off everything and just focus on the here and now just for a few moments, and hopefully give you a couple of tools to take away that you can continue to practice that, and just to, you know, if it helps you through a little bit as well. So Tor, would you mind just giving a little bit of an overview from your point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Olivia, and good morning to everybody out there. Gosh, yeah, it's a really trying time for many people. I myself came to mindfulness about 12 years ago from a real place of fear and anxiety and depression. So those feelings are very live, and we're all living in some way with this new kind of thing that's happened, this new phenomenon that's happened in the pandemic. So the opportunity for today's session is to, first of all, know what we mean by mindfulness, and to experience some short kind of opportunities to identify and experience mindfulness. And then hopefully by the end of the time together, you'll have a neat little practice which you can slot into your life at any opportunity that you may care to be reminded, or you can remind yourself. Yeah, I'm looking forward to offering this to you. My other half is a ADI, sorry. And yeah, I think one of the biggest things he's struggling with, Olivia, and everybody out there, is the not working, the not being allowed to teach at the moment. So his livelihood and kind of, it defines him, but also from a perspective of looking after the family financially as well. So yeah, I absolutely wholeheartedly empathise with the people that are joining us today.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for a little bit of background about yourself. So that's great. And yes, they are very strange times, very, very hard times at the moment. And I don't want to turn this session into, you know, obviously if you've got questions, we will answer them at the end. But if, you know, if you've got questions about general, you know, your business and things like that, you know, we're always there for you. Email support@driving.org, and then we'll speak to you and reply to you. So always just drop us an email to that email address, support@driving.org, in the first instance, and then we'll come back to you. But hopefully everyone knows that by now. And you know, if you just want to ring up and chat, then that's fine too. We all need to have that time. So if you but hopefully this morning, for the next sort of half an hour or so, we'll be able to have a little bit of I don't know, relief, maybe. Well, let's say, as you said, Tor, there's no guarantee for anybody, any particular, you know, normally when we have a session, there's learning outcomes and this is what you should achieve, or you know, these are the goals that we'd like to work towards for the session. But for this one, it's just, I think, as you said, you know, everyone just takes away different things from it. Some maybe take away more than others. I think it's a very personal experience, isn't that right, Tor?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that makes this different to perhaps many other kind of, if you like, training type sessions is that this is very experiential. So it might even feel a little bit weird, Olivia, I'm not going to lie. Some people might sit and think, oh my goodness, this is weird, but that's okay. You know, you can just come to this half hour with a completely open mind. And whether you like it or whether you dislike it, we can fully put our trust in the emerging neuroscience behind the practice of mindfulness, knowing that in doing this, in learning this skill, in dedicating time to the practice, there are changes in the way that the brain operates. So what I'd like for people to take away from this is an opportunity to, first of all, really step out of autopilot, which is where we normally are, and just to go with their own experience, just holding off self-criticism, just allowing themselves to experience the next half hour, however it is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's have a little look at moving the session on then and getting started. So this is what we're going to have a little look at during the session. So trying to be a little bit more present and in the moment, where all of us are, we all lead such busy and chaotic lives, and it's so easy to get just swept along in what we're doing and not to be present. So, and you, as you say, Tor, finding a level of stability at this time of instability by helping the mind focus on the here and now. So we're going to hand over to you now then, Tor, for the next few moments.
That's lovely. Thanks, Olivia. So, yeah, very good morning and a very, very warm welcome to you all. I think you should really congratulate yourselves for taking this time out of whatever needs to be done at the moment to offer yourself some, I suppose, some time just to pause in this time that's upon us, that none of us were expecting. Absolutely. So first of all, before we go any further and we go into a kind of longer practice, which you can elaborate on through the weeks and months to come, first of all, just inviting you to notice that you're even sat here right in this moment. I mean, I have no idea where you're sitting. So it could be on a bed, or it could be on a straight back chair or a stool. So just, if you can, just allowing yourself to notice how it feels. Firstly, just to sit here on this chair. So imagining you had a torch, and you can either make the torch beam very narrow or very wide. Just encouraging you now to imagine that you could zoom a torchlight of attention into a real sense of your body sitting here, rooted to the chair almost. So firstly, noticing if you feel comfortable, and if you do, then that's great. Stay exactly as you are. If you feel you could get comfier, so moving around on the chair, adjusting any kind of cushions, and really allowing your body to, first of all, become stable as best as you can. So you can either do a mindfulness practice with your eyes wide open. That's absolutely fine. But if so, then just keeping your gaze lowered to about 3 feet in front of the body. So this becomes your practice space, if you like. Or if you're comfortable to do so, just now inviting you to gently, softly close your eyes. And perhaps there's another word for mindfulness, which is wakefulness. So waking up to the fact that here you are, sitting here in this moment. And how does it feel to sit here? So inviting you to zoom that narrow focus of the torchlight, if you like, to the place where the feet are in contact with the ground. And then zooming up to the place where the body is in contact with the chair. A real place where the sitting bones, if you like, are in contact with the cushion or the hard chair. And then scanning up with this narrow focus of attention, this torchlight, up through the height of the body, so the spine elongated if possible. And just inviting you to know that all of this is just purely an invitation. It's completely your choice as to whether you choose to engage or you don't. And if you don't choose to engage and you just simply want to sit and listen, then that's absolutely fine too. It's a really liberating, forgiving practice of mindfulness. So the head balanced on top, the hands resting on the thighs if this feels comfortable. And then just really sensing how it feels to sit here on this chair, the weight of the body going down and the height of the body going upwards. And then very, very slowly, if the eyes have been closed, just inviting you to open the eyes slowly and gently, taking a look around at colours, shadows, light, clocks, carpet, whatever is around you, both close up and further away. So just really coming to a sense of being here in this present moment. So, yeah, just asking yourself silently how that was. What did you notice? Did you notice it was quite difficult to bring the attention to the feet or the sitting bones? And it's absolutely fine. This is a tiny, tiny snippet of a mindfulness practice we're having today. It's a practice which takes time. So in this arriving space, now we've arrived in this moment on our chairs, just sharing a little bit about what mindfulness actually is, and perhaps a little bit of myth busting on what it isn't. So mindfulness is an attention, when you pay attention in a particular way on purpose. So we spend a lot of our times in what is known as autopilot, which, say for instance, in driving a car can be really quite helpful when we don't have to overthink. 20 or 30 years into driving a car, we don't have to really think about that gear change or anything. But actually, when we're in autopilot, we're not really tuned in to the present moment. So we can take really good care of ourselves when we tune into the present. So mindfulness is an awareness which emerges when we pay attention on purpose in a particular way, with a friendliness and an attitude of curiosity. So just inviting you to be curious about the practice as we go through it today together. A lot of our time is spent worrying about what's happened before. So maybe the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, I should have done that or shouldn't have done that. We can live quite dramatically in the past. And equally, we can really project to the future. So catastrophizing, perhaps, such as with the virus that's going on, many people can catastrophize and think it's going to be like this forever. But actually, all we really truly know and can feel and sense is what's happening here in the present moment as it is, non-judgmentally, and really trying to let go of any criticism of yourself. So some of the myths about what mindfulness is the opportunity to completely clear your mind. Well, you may notice when we do a slightly longer practice in a minute that it's not very long before the mind will wander off. The mind has a mind of its own, if you like, and will wander off to past, future, planning, worrying, doing all those sorts of things. And there's nothing wrong with this. We're literally coming to notice and recognize the landscape. So we're noticing the landscape, the inner landscape of our minds, of our behaviors. And mindfulness gives us a great opportunity to notice all of this. So the practice we're going to do now is an opportunity to take a pause through the day at any time, and you can set your phones, if you like, a couple of times a day to remind you to do this next practice, which is called a 3-step breathing space. It's a tip of the mindfulness work. So it's a very short practice, and it can be done, well, let's say in the toilet if you find you don't get much peace around the house at the moment. It can be done in bed. It can be done in the garden, out on a walk, in a queue. We're doing a lot of queuing to get into a shop at the moment. So this practice is really transportable. So the 3-step breathing space goes in 3 steps. And what I'd like to do is to invite you to take part in the practice. So it's entirely up to you now as to whether you stay seated for this, which you can. And really choosing wisely, actually, and asking yourself, what do I need? What do I need? And remembering, we're not trying to clear the mind. We're going to work skillfully, and I'll guide you skillfully with the mind as we go through the practice. So what do I need? Do I need to lay down? Do I fancy really allowing the body to come to rest because I haven't had much of it? And if so, inviting you to lay down now, getting yourself as comfortable as possible. Or perhaps you may wish to stand, sitting down. If you spend a lot of time sitting, then please stand. So this is the first intention. This is a really important part of the start of your mindfulness, is to choose what's best for you. And then adopting a posture which feels right. So I won't use any bells to start or end a practice today because they sometimes don't transmit nicely over virtual practicing. So I'll just guide you very, very gently. And again, just noticing it's a choice, absolute choice as to whether you wish to engage with the practice. And if so, then rather than just listening, actively engaging with the words of the practice, if you like. Or just simply sitting and listening to it all, and just bringing curiosity. What is this? What am I noticing? So, yeah, hopefully you've established yourself in whichever posture you'd like to adopt for the practice. And I'll guide you very gently, just easing yourself into this mindfulness space together, connected together on this Thursday morning, with great thanks to Olivia in the DIA for providing this opportunity for yourselves and myself. And yeah, just warmly welcoming you all to how things are. So first of all, either closing your eyes or leaving them slightly open with the gaze lowered, which of course you could do if you were in a queue. You wouldn't want to stand perhaps with your eyes closed. So whatever's right, whatever's best. And in step one of this breathing space, we firstly really tune into the present moment with things exactly as they are. So grounding yourself in a stable posture in this first step. Allowing the attention to come to the place where the body is in contact with the floor, the ground. What's here to be noticed? Any temperature in the feet? And even giving your toes a little wiggle, if you like, and stretching out the soles of the feet so you can really sense into that contact. The feet in contact with the ground, rooted to the earth. And then scanning up to notice what's here in the feet, the legs, stopping off at the knee joints perhaps, and tuning in. How are these knees? Are they stiff, tired, raring to go, agitated? Just simply noticing. We're not trying to change anything at all. Just noticing things as they are in the moment. Zooming the attention up now to the place where the body is in contact with the chair or the floor perhaps, or if standing, and just tuning into the pelvic region itself. Scanning up the torso, the belly, the tall spine, the vertebrae stacked on top of each other. And then perhaps pausing and stopping off at the shoulders. The shoulders, an area which tend to be prone to tightness and tenderness and fatigue. So what's here to be noticed as this torchlight of attention arrives in the shoulders? How are these shoulders this morning, in this moment? Scanning the hands, the fingers, checking out any temperature, any sense of contact with the body. Scanning up the arms, arriving at the neck and the throat. The head balanced on top. What are you noticing as you scan through the body? Perhaps any tightness, any tenderness. So when we're worried or stressed, we can clench our jaw together. And if you notice this, then this is absolutely fine. It's a normal reaction to stress. Just allowing the jaw to soften, loosening off any tightness which might be showing up in the body. Perhaps a little bit of nervousness or tension in the tummy. Just simply noticing it. We're not trying to force change here. We're not trying to make things different. Just noticing the landscape of what's already here, how things are. In this moment, just this moment. And so having now identified how things are in the body, then just noticing where the mind is, what's occupying the mind at the moment. Perhaps it is remembering something perhaps you did before, or perhaps planning something later, going out for a walk, doing something in the garden, catching up on a program, playing, cooking. So just noticing where the mind is. How is the traffic in the mind? Is it really busy? Imagining the mind was like a motorway, a really fast, busy motorway with plenty of traffic on it. Is this how the mind is as you notice it? Is it busy, busy, busy? Again, not trying to clear the mind at all. We'll never achieve this. Just simply noticing, busy mind. Or perhaps it's quieter, like an A road. So just the odd thought, the odd bit of thought traffic. What's here to be noticed in the mind? Noticing any sensations around of perhaps a little bit of boredom or agitation, any emotional charge around with any thoughts going on. Or perhaps the mind is like a B road, a very, very quiet, calm B road with the odd bit of traffic, just the odd car plodding along slowly. So step one is to notice what's here exactly as it is in the present moment, stabilizing the posture and checking in with the body and mind. And now inviting you in step two of the breathing space to bring your awareness to a particular point, and you have some choices. So you can either bring the attention to settle with the contact of the body with the feet or the seat, or you can bring your attention to settle with the flow of the breath. So this breath that has breathed us since we first breathed, we're now going to invite you, if possible, if it feels right to do so, to gently bring the focus of awareness to the sensations of the breath. So you can choose to follow the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. So just the natural flow of breath. We're not asking you to exaggerate, intentionalize the breath. Just to simply, gently rest your awareness as best as you can with the flow of breath into and out from the nostrils. Or perhaps if this is a little bit difficult, then placing a hand across the chest in the heart region. Firstly, noticing the contact of the hand with the chest. And then just noticing the very small movement of the breath breathing the body in this area, in this region of the chest. Or perhaps settling the attention and placing a hand on the belly. Perhaps this is where you may notice the breath the best. Noticing if the mind has wandered off, like a puppy would or a small child, and gently bring it back, bring the attention back to the focus of the breath flowing into and out from the body. And now choosing a particular point to bring your focus to in the present moment, the anchor to the present moment. Either the feet and seat, so the contact, or the breath flowing into and out from the nostrils, or the rising and falling of the chest with each in-breath and each out-breath, or the belly expanding on the in-breath and deflating on the out-breath. Notice if you're getting caught up in worrying about where you should place the breath. This is absolutely fine. We just notice this and then settle the attention to one of the places, one of the options. And if there's any sensations of worry or tension still or stress, then just including them, rolling out the welcome mat, inviting everything to be exactly as it is. And once you've chosen your place to bring the awareness to, this narrow focus of awareness, the anchor point to the present, just tethering the attention to the breath or the body as best as you can, being really patient and kind, friendly and curious. If the mind is extremely busy, it can be helpful to silently say some words to yourself, such as breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Or it may be perhaps helpful to count the breath. Breathing in for 3, breathing out for 3. Whichever you feel will be most supportive and most helpful to bring your focus to the anchor of the present moment. And then just riding on the breath, just like the waves come into and out from the beach. Just allowing yourself to bring the focus of awareness to the flow of breath. Riding on the surf of the breath, if you like, the waves of the breath in and the breath out. Really tuning into the physical sensations, perhaps noticing the coolness of the breath as it flows in, slightly warmer on the way out. Really bringing this narrow focus in step 2 to the breath or the body as a narrow focus of awareness. As best as you can. Nobody ever said this was going to be easy. Just takes practice till it becomes a habit. And now in step 3 of the breathing space, expanding the awareness as if you were expanding the beam of the torch to taking a sense of the whole of the body. The whole of the body sitting or laying here in this moment. Feet in contact with the ground. Aware of the whole of the body from the tips of the toes right up to the crown of the head, the tips of the fingers and the thumbs, the skin, any temperature, the breath, breathing the whole of the body. And now expanding even further to take in any sounds from the outside, from your body, perhaps you're digesting breakfast, So taking in sound, just allowing the sounds to come in this sense of expanded awareness. And then moving the toes, allowing the hands to move, allowing the body to move a little bit, very gently opening the eyes. And once again, taking in any sights you can see, colours, textures. And in your own time, just quietly noticing how that was, what was there to be noticed. Perhaps some sense of relaxation or agitation, just simply allowing your experience to be exactly as it was, with no criticism, no need for that at all. And I suppose my recommendation would be to allow yourself to pause like this as often as you can, particularly at the moment as we face these difficult challenges. And you know, if you small practices like washing your hands, really sense into the smell and the touch of the hands, washing the hands, or having a coffee, really taste that coffee and feel the sensations of the warm cup in the hand. Even small tiny droplets of mindfulness will be very helpful and supportive at this time. So that's the end of the practice.
If there are any questions, which there might not be, this might not be the time or the type of experience where you need to ask things. You might want to ask them, and we'll do our best to answer them. There's many places where you can get in contact with us, and we'll pick it up. We can just give us a call on the usual number. So we're hoping that you got something out of it, and even if you didn't, then go back and listen to it again and see how you might be able to use it to help yourselves and help anyone else that needs it. I don't know if you can see anything on there, Tor.
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So let's go up the top, I think. So somebody had asked, could they watch this back again? So I presume that's a question for you, Olivia, which you said they can.
Yeah.
A question was, is mindfulness meditation? It absolutely is. Awareness is meditation. Meditation is awareness. And when we're bringing our attention in a particular way, such as that, absolutely. The roots of mindfulness are in Buddhist meditation. Mindfulness was brought over in from Tibet, actually, by a fantastic doctor in America. So yeah, it absolutely is a form of meditation, and also a form of mind training, of brain training. The other thing, I think somebody said, how should I feel different after that? So yeah, that's a really great question, and only one that you can answer. There's no right way or wrong way to feel. There's no failure. How you're feeling is how you're feeling. So some people feel extremely relaxed after the opportunity to stop and pause. But actually, some people feel quite agitated in just coming to stop. So there's no right or wrong way. Somebody's just said, we practice this in yoga. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of yoga teachers incorporate what you call a body scan at the end of a practice, and it's bringing attention to the different parts of the body. More focus, yep. How can this help in the day-to-day work of an ADI? So I said to my other half, quite interestingly, who doesn't have a mindfulness practice, but actually, if you think when you're teaching people to drive, or when you're getting in the car yourself, if you can be aware from the moment that your body is in contact with the driving seat, and we can slow things down. So you notice that we were really paying attention to just the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, by slowing things down like this, and we become more aware. I do think the roads would be quite a bit calmer. I think there's potential to be less angry drivers and more patience on the road. Absolutely. Yeah, in order to feel the effect, maybe you should practice it regularly. I've had a practice for 12 years, and my daily practice is around 40 to 45 minutes every single day. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, in order to feel the benefit, it's not something that it's like wanting to lose, I don't know, if you wanted to go on a diet and you wouldn't just eat one salad and expect to lose, whatever it is you want to lose, or going to the gym to get ripped muscles. You're not going to just be able to go and do reps of 10. You do have to practice. Okay, I'll answer it. I don't feel any different. I suspect I will be grounded naturally. You said it may be hard to do. I didn't find it stretching at all. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, some people have an inherent natural trait mindfulness. So some people are able to not be caught up in autopilot. But many people are caught up in autopilot, and it's just an opportunity to stop and step out of autopilot. So yeah, it's fine whether it's good, bad, like, dislike, or no change at all. It's absolutely, it's your experience. Great. Somebody like the connection with driving. I live with a beautiful teenage son who's recently passed his test, and as soon as he gets in his car, it's like he lives the rest of his life in this very, very busy state with loud music and stuff. And yeah, I think if he adopted a little bit more mindfulness in the car, I'd feel he was a lot safer out there on the roads. So yeah, thanks for all those questions. Feels like it could be a reset button. Yeah, it's a chance to reset. Maybe you could do a more advanced one in the future. Yep. Yeah, we may have quite a lot of time to do it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that obviously it's like I've said with anything, if you practice more often, it becomes more of a habit, or a habit to drop in and just ask, what do I need in this moment?
I think that was a really great question just now, and you mentioned about potentially doing more. That was something I was going to ask everybody. Obviously, this is very, very different to anything we've ever done before, and I just thought Tor and I've been talking for some time behind the scenes and thinking about doing something like this for you guys, but we were just thinking, okay, how do we do it? Would you like it? But then as this situation come upon us, then I just thought, well, approached Tor, and she, has been really great and said, yeah, let's give it a go, because now might be quite a, a very good time to see what you think. What we'd be very, very interested in, either way, is your feedback. So I understand that some people have got some things out of it, some people haven't, and we said that at the beginning, and Tor's made that clear. We're all very different, we'll take different things out of it. And as you say, we won't just have one salad and then lose the weight we want. It's practice, and as you say, Tor, you have a daily practice at this, and it's brain training. And we have lots of things and games that can do that, but this is a different version of that, as I understand it. So it is practice, and it is just like you say, those tiny little drops of mindfulness, that your cup of coffee, and getting in the car, or how the seat's feeling against your back and things like that. So just small, take a few seconds every now and again, just to kind of see if you can practice some of those things, to see if it will help you, not just now, but in the future as well. So what we'd love from you is, if you can, I think there should be a feedback or comment form at the end, but if there isn't, or if you didn't want to fill that out, then if our email for anything sort of training course related is training@driving.org. And if you could spend a couple of your moments, we'd be very grateful just to tell us what you thought, and if you would like any more of this, and if you would like not just a webinar but some more, when we're allowed to do the face-to-face courses again. And Tor and I have already discussed this, and it is possible, and it is in the pipeline, if this is what you would like, to have those moments of escapism from your daily life, when we're all back to normal, hopefully very soon. So do let us know if there's anything like this you'd like, or even online learning content, and more webinars. Just chuck all your ideas at us, all your needs and wants, and then we'll try and assemble that and deliver something that you would like. That would be great. So Just moving on from onto the next slide quickly. So we've got some more short online courses at Academy. We've made some of them free. So have a little look on there. We do have another webinar tomorrow, 11 AM, about risk. So I'll be joined with my colleagues and boss, Carly, our CEO, and Howard, who's another ADI. And so we'll be 3 of us on here talking to you about risk and all different aspects. So not just on road risk, but lots of other aspects of that as well. We'll also be addressing the current situation we're in at the moment as well. Don't forget, you've got our ADI help desk for you DIA members out there. Any non-members, then yeah, we'll do our best to give you some help and advice, but obviously we'll prioritise for our members. But come to us, ask us, call us, email us if there's anything that we can help you with, then we'll be happy to do that. So I think we'll wrap up the session now. Thank you for attending. I think we answered all your questions, but if we didn't, drop us an email, training@driving.org, and we'll come back to you very shortly on that. So thank you so much, Tor, for that session. I was quite zoned out. I feel quite sleepy now. It was amazing. I like this. I've done sort of mindfulness, a little bit of mindfulness on the receiving end of a trainer in the past, not too much, but a little bit, and I've always really loved it, and a bit of visualization as well, and it's helped me greatly with things in the past. And you do need to practice it, but once you've got a few of those skills, they're transferable to pretty much any situation that you're in. Like Tor said, supermarket queue, a lot of people standing in those right now. So I hope it's helpful for you, and I'm going to wrap up now and say to everyone, stay safe, stay well, and stay in touch as well. We'll continue to update you as this develops. And thank you, Tor. And I'm going to sign out now. So thank
you all. Thank you all. Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.